Welcome to the Fresh is the Word podcast. I'm your host, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier. And like always, we have the freshest of guests for you. And this is Halloween week, Season of the Pumpkin, Fright Night. And we got some ghoulish and frightful guests for you this week. I'm going to actually have two episodes this week. The guest for this episode is Fenrier. He's the drummer of the Pagan metal band Varg from Coburg, Germany, who just released their new album, Zeichen, via Napalm Records. With this seventh full-length release, Varg go back to their pagan metal roots. And in my discussion with him, we talk about the band's vision for this album and their origins. We also go into pagan history and how that is perceived in Germany, along with how his home place has been dealing with the pandemic, along with social issues like the Black Lives Matter movement. It was great to almost like exchange notes on the similarities and differences between our respective societal and political climates. It was always fun to learn about different cultures through music, and this is definitely a really, cool episode for that. Fenrier just, gives a lot of great education about where he's from. And, before we get into this interview, also later on this week, maybe even tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to return guests, the great trio of Alazul Ilu, the horrorcore rap group that are on Magic Ninja Entertainment, Twisted's label. Met up with those guys via Zoom, and as ugly as they usually are with their mask. No, wait a minute. No, it's real. It's a real gimmick. No, not a gimmick. Got to chop it up with Joey Black, Lee Carver, and Billy Obey about their newest album, the Mausoleum. It's always a great time to talk with them. That new album is fantastic. It's produced entirely by Detroiter Slasher Dave, who does these kind of just horror music. Sounds like horror movie music that he does. But plus he's also the lead of the doom metal sludge metal band Acid Witch. So it was really cool. Chop it up with them. I'm actually gonna drop a video version of that. I wish the video looked a little bit better. I forgot to, do the correct settings on it. But, it's the first time I'm, doing a video because they're a very visual group of guys with their, the way they look, and it was fun to, kick it with them, like always. A lot of, gross jokes. But we got to get into the new album and kind of dig into their grotesque lives. Besides that, we're just trooping on. I've been a little burnt out lately. That's why you're kind of getting episodes just kind of here and there. I've pretty much wrapped up recording interviews for the rest of the year. I think the only thing I left that I want to do is I'm trying to still get somebody for the 5th anniversary of Fresh is the Word. And I want to get someone special, but I don't know. A few people have reached out to, still haven't. It's hard, but I'm gonna do something for the 5th anniversary. My other podcast, Renaissance Soul, still moving along with great Detroit music albums. Some new albums some bands that dropped some new albums that I did episodes with. The thrash death metal band from Detroit called Plague Years. That episode's up. That's a killer album. Another one is the Messenger Birds. Their debut album. Kicked it with them, and we talked about that album. And I got some good stuff on the way. Next week is going to be a very special episode. Hopefully, I'm going to drop the Majesty Crush episode. They were in the 90s, they were a shoegaze band from Detroit. Half the band were, they had two black members of the band. The lead singer was black. And what you learn about this band, they only existed for a few years, is that what's really relatable here in 2020 is that, and you'll hear is that there's a big intersection between the Black Lives Matter movement and mental health that is in the story of Majesty Crush, along with Majesty Crush was one of those bands that was like they were so good, but like their own sort of circumstances, like they were in a lot of times they were in the right place at the right time, but at the same time it never just went to fruition in the right way. But like they were one of those bands where like they would just always run into people like and had and I talked with one of the members of the band, Hobie Eklund, and he tell me we I just had to let it roll, let it record. I barely even had to ask questions. I just kind of had to steer him through the episode because he just kept on talking and he just telling me all these stories. And he's a writer too, journalist. He wrote the ICP book Beyond the Paints. So interviewing somebody like that, they know where they're going. You can just they know how to do interviews and whatnot. But he had so much stuff to say, and it's like one of those bands where you're like go you listen to Majesty Crush. Go find it somewhere. On most of it you can see on YouTube. One of the songs that which was kind of like one of their more known popular songs. It was called Number One Fan. Like it's gonna be on this Detroit shoegaze compilation put out by Jack White's Third Man Records in November, with a collection of other kind of groups that we talk about in this interview. Like there was this kind of community kind of going on, this loose community of people that were doing music that wasn't exactly the music that you would like think come out of Detroit, but Majesty Crush was like just like they did beautiful music. They were an incredible band, but like there was just like circumstances beyond their control, especially like back in the early 90s that just it just kind of crushed the band. But what the input, like the output that they did during that short period of time is just like beautiful music. So that's a definite must listen on my Renaissance Soul podcast, because that's like an important piece of Detroit history. Okay, enough of that. Let's after a small break for a word from our sponsor, we'll get into this interview with Fenrier, the drummer of the pagan metal band from Germany, Varg. Welcome back to the Fresh is the Word podcast. And my guest for this episode is Fenrier. He is the drummer of the pagan metal band from Germany, Varg. They have a new album out called Zeichen. It's really dope. Just came out on Napalm Records. Continuing their story of the legendary Viking era. It kicks ass. I really dig it. So, thanks for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. It's quite cool.
Man, okay, so got the new album out. You've been part of the band since the beginning. Been around, formed in 2005. So you've been around for everything. Sort of like, what was sort of the band's mind state going into this album? What did you want to accomplish?
Oh, we've got we start as a pagan metal band way back in the days, and between the last album, the first album was the Wolf Side album. It was real pagan metal, all about Vikings and the Viking area, and then we switched a little bit, more to kind of a modern heavy metal or a modern style of pagan metal, and now we are totally back to the roots. We more authentic than ever. So it begins with a new stage outfit, the new war paint in our face, and with the music. So all our lyrics are just about the Viking era, and it's kind of a back to the roots for us, and it feels so good to be back where we started. So it's it feels right to be back with a real pagan metal album. And that's why we decided, okay, we have to do our next album. We want to go back to the roots, and bam.
What made the band sort of take that detour into just being like a metal band? Like
So
before.
before to change from pagan metal to normal metal or
Yeah.
more modern metal, it was just yeah, we were young at the beginning, and then we tried out a lot. That's the only reason. As an artist, you have to try new stuff all the time, otherwise it will be boring. And so we 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 tried a little bit, and they're all good albums, but it feels this all this pagan metal, all this Viking area, it fits us so much better. So we are pretty happy with the new album, and it kicks ass. It's like a Viking axe straight to your head, and yeah, we're pretty happy with this.
Like when you go back to the early days of this band, what was sort of the idea behind doing this pagan metal sound, having these Viking stories?
It's pretty easy. We start the band in at winter time, and over here in Germany, it's freezing ice cold, and you have this. We are so close to Scandinavia. We've got this Viking area all around us. In the woods, there are rune stones and old castles, etc. So it's everywhere over here in Germany. And so for us, it was pretty easy to say, okay. And also, all of us, we believe in the old gods, and that was the reason why, okay, we have to make music like this.
How, how important is sort of that history in the culture that you're from?
It's not that important at the moment because yeah, the Christians all over here, um, but it becomes more famous to go back to the roots and to the old paganism gods in Germany. Um, yeah, but it's not everywhere. Not it's just a really small population in Germany who is believing in the old gods. Yeah.
How are, the people who look upon the old gods, how are they received
Yeah.
by people?
Received by people. Oh,
Yeah, what do people think
so
about you guys? Like
it's too
people
bad for
like you.
this question. Yeah. Excuse me again?
Like what does like the general population of people in Germany think about, people who
Ah.
believe in, the pagan stuff and everything.
Yeah. It's like they think about we are outsiders. Yeah, because most of the guys who listen to or who believe in the old gods are metalheads. So yeah, and it's kind of an outsider thing here in Germany.
Like, when did you sort of like pick up on that sort of ideology and all that sort of history? Like when did you first get interested in it?
Oh, in a pretty young age, I guess with 12 years, something like that. So also my dad started all this stuff. He's from Norway. And he started to tell me when I was going to bed all this fairy tales from the Viking area, etc. So I started pretty early to get into this Viking scene.
Like what is like for people that don't know, what is some of the most interesting things about that history?
About the history of the Vikings. So it's a how to translate in English? It's it's so hard for me. Um, so first of all, is the religion is more. You don't have just one god. You've got a couple of gods. There's one for the sea, one for the landscape, etc. One for the love, and so you can decide when you've got a problem and you have to pray to one of these gods. You can, yeah, choose between many of them for a special problem, and it's the most important is the love to the nature. So you have to be careful to the nature around you.
Oh, that's something that like I feel like more people could like learn from in this world.
Yeah,
Because we're always fucking with nature, and sometimes you're like,
that's true.
let let it be. Like, let it be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a big part in the Viking mythology and in the religion of old Nordic gods to believe also in nature and in yourself. Yeah,
So, okay, thinking that way, when this pandemic first happened and things were just really shut down, you saw things around the world, nature wise, growing and being cleaner
growing.
than
Yeah,
ever. Like, what's your
yeah.
thoughts about that?
It's unbelievable and it's good to see, and hopefully it changes the mind of some people. So you don't have to drive everywhere with your car. You can take the bicycle or can make something like an Uber, uh, etc. But also in Germany, everyone got a car, and if you have to go to the grocery store and it's, I don't know, less than 1 mile away, they take the car. Me neither. I walk all the time here. In my I've got a car, but I prefer to walk. Yeah.
Yeah, where I'm from here in the States, I'm in Michigan, Detroit, and we're a place that's known for cars. We build cars here.
Yeah.
So we have that mind state. But with the newer generation, like the Generation Z, like the young kids, a lot of them just because of not being able to afford things and whatnot, they're moving towards bikes and walking and stuff like that. Even here,
Yeah.
so there is a change just because it's everything's become so expensive, and and
Yeah, that's true.
and the young generation can't like get jobs to be able to afford that. So there is definitely, but I get what you're saying also, where definitely there's a lot of people here that if the grocery store's less than a mile away, they'll still drive their car over there.
Yeah, right. We played in Detroit once or twice maybe with Varg, and it was a pretty amazing show. I loved it over there to play in Detroit. Nice audience.
All right, nice. Do you remember where you played at?
I couldn't remember the name of the club. It was, I don't know, in 2015, something around this
Okay,
time. We played together with Winter Sun and Kopiklani.
okay,
So it
good.
was a pretty cool tour package, and I loved it over there. But I was, one of my bandmates was robbed uh, at the other side of the street from some guys. They put a gun in his face
What?
and steal his pockets. Yeah, yeah.
That happened in
I
Detroit?
could remember this. Happened in Detroit. Oh yeah.
Like
But
we have a
could
good
happen everywhere in the world.
yeah, we have a good metal crowd here, but then stuff like that could happen. If yeah, I'm yeah, if you played at Harpo's, then that
Oh, I guess this was the name of the venue. And at the other side of the street, there was a big liquor store, and he just went to the other side of the street and bam.
no, it was probably Harpo's because like Harpo's is literally a metal like has always been like a metal venue, but in the hood. It's like in the inner city. Like it's literally in a grimy ass neighborhood, and it was like the weirdest thing ever. So,
I think this was this venue because also our bus driver told me, "Oh, this is a bad area,
yeah,
so please be
because
careful, guys."
all the other places that a metal band would play in Michigan, uh, they're kind of in nice neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So like, that's they're downtown Detroit, like, but you probably played at Harpo's because that fits about right.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, so give me a second. I have to
Wait, can you
just
still hear me
switch the
because
camera.
you're
Yeah, my camera is freeze. I can hear you, and I switch the camera, and bam, I'm back again. So, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. Okay, there you go.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was just weird. You
perfect.
had like it
Sorry.
froze and you have like a really crazy look on your face, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
we got to change that, or I'm gonna continue to laugh.
Okay, cool.
But we were kind of talking about this before we roll in. We're in the middle of this pandemic. How are you personally, and just how's the band sort of dealing with the pandemic?
So it wasn't the the baddest thing that happens to us because we've got a lot of time for recording this album.
Right.
We never before got that many times. Or I also work in the music industry. I'm going on tour with a lot of German bands like Rammstein and a lot of other big German acts.
What do you do with
And
them?
yeah, I do the rigging.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
an
All right.
industrial climber here and do the rigging stuff and stage construction. So pretty nice job. I love it. So I tour around the world with many bands, not just with Varg. And yeah, there's no job since a couple of months. So we've got more than enough time to record this album. So this was pretty fine for us. But yeah, it's super shocking, all this pandemic stuff, and that has happened all over the world. And hopefully we we make it pretty fast and can, I don't know, it ends pretty fast hopefully,
Right.
because
But
there's no live shows, nothing, and it's depressing me.
yeah, yeah, we're all missing the live shows, man. Like it's nuts. But yeah, you guys have always, regularly been putting out projects, whether it's full lengths or EPs, and then like you said, you're always traveling with bands. So like to a little extent, like this break is, a little nice, I'd guess, for you.
Yeah, right. So it was good for the band, but it was also pretty hard to shoot videos, music videos. We have to shoot music videos, and normally we've got a company from Poland who do all our music video stuff. And yeah, we were not allowed to travel to Poland, so we have to decide, okay, what should we do now? And we call all of our friends, hey, can you shoot a music video for Varg? And bam, here we go.
Yeah, the,
We
vi- the
did it.
videos look great. Kind of talk up more about like what went into making those videos, like having those constraints because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's pretty hard because no one allows you to come on his ground with, I don't know, 20 people and shoot a music video. So most of the time we did it illegal.
Yeah,
So we
legal. Yeah,
just
all right.
drive to an ocean and say, okay, build up the drums pretty fast and then shoot. Because the police don't allow us to shoot videos over here at the moment, because it's not allowed to be in a group with more than 10 people.
Understandable. Yeah, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few people that I know that just kind of do guerrilla guerrilla style
Yeah,
music
but we have to.
videos.
There was no other way to shoot a music video. But we all wear masks all the time. The camera guys wear masks, etc. Also the light guys. So it was pretty safe for us. But yeah,
But he had to do it really
it's
quick.
a yeah. But we have to do it really quick.
had,
Yes.
had to plan it out ahead of time and be like, all right, you do this, whatever, boom.
Yeah.
um, just with the release of the new album, what do you guys have planned outside just the music videos to deal with the pandemic, but just to keep the promotion going?
Yeah, there's a lot of internet stuff going on right now with us. So like podcast interviews, live interviews via Skype or Zoom. And we really try to stay in contact with our fans. So we're super active on Facebook and Instagram right now, just to stay in contact with the fans. Um, yeah, maybe we will do a live show on the internet someday. But the good thing is, next week since 14 years, we've got our own festival with the band Varg, and yeah, it's allowed in a different state here in Germany to have shows with 2,000 people on it, and yeah, we do it next week. So we're really looking forward to see our fans again and party with them. It's kind of a super safe concert because there are 2,000 people on an area that fits around about 10,000 people.
Okay.
So you've got
So
you've
there's gonna
got
be some social distancing and
yes,
room.
right. There's a lot of social distance. You have to wear a mask all the time, and then you have to keep a distance from what is in feet? I guess 5 feet to the other man.
Yeah.
And so this is how the concert can happen.
Well, good
It's
luck
pretty
on that. That
cool. We
sounds
love it.
great. Yeah, I'm glad you're
Yeah,
able
it
to do
sounds
that.
amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this, and will be our second live show this year. But we also planned a big tour, a release tour in October. But most of the shows are canceled right now. So
Yeah,
yeah, we have to wait until next year, and hopefully we can start in spring, something like that.
right. What what's your fans like? What kind of people are they? When you're listening to a pagan metal band, like what kind of fans do you have?
It's every kind of fans. It's unbelievable. From the age of 11 to the age of 69 and older. So there is no gap between, because we, it's pretty cool. And also women, man, no different. It's 50-50. So pretty nice. They're for sure all metalheads. And yeah, we sing in German. So it's not all metalheads. There are also some German guys. They just want to listen to German rock music and love our songs because they're really catchy, and they're good to sing along.
Yeah, that's what I liked about you guys about this new album. It was like it's really heavy, it but it's very catchy.
Yeah.
It's catchy
So we've
without
got this.
being corny or anything. It's just like very. I like it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Thank you a lot. Yeah, it's by far also my favorite Varg album. So normally when we start recording an album, we get out of the studio with more than 20 songs, and then we have to decide, okay, which song can go on the album. But this time we went to the studio. We've got more than enough time, but we just recorded these 10 songs because we love them so much, and all of them, bam, on the album. So it's the first time that we did this, and it's perfect, and it just fits. Every song fits into the other. I love this.
Why do you feel like that happened? That you recorded 10 songs and those were the songs that were going to be in the album. You guys felt confident about that.
I don't know how it happened. This is the first time. So we've got two new guitar players in the band, and they did an amazing job. Our music is the most parts are guitars. We've got no folk instruments in our music. So, but they did such a great job. So every time we start a new album, we start with the guitars first, and then I go in with the drums, and then we just finish the songs by just music, and then we give it to our singer, and he is doing all the lyrics for the song. And this time it just fits in together. So
you felt like there was
amazing.
like some new energy with those the new guitar players.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you feel like? Why was that? What do you feel like they brought to the band? Was there just that wasn't there before?
I guess they listened to Varg before. The new guitar players, they listened to the band and they loved the band before, and they also listened pretty hard to the first albums, to the pagan metal albums of Varg. And then we decided, okay, just try to keep this style into the new album, and it fits amazing. Yeah, they did a great job. Maybe all of the older guitar players were stuck too much in this Varg vibe because they recorded more than 4 or 5 albums, and yeah, it's the new wind in the band.
Looking back to like the early days of the band, you know, what really sticks out about starting the band? Doing that first album. Like, what are your best memories of that time?
Oh, just a lot of work, and you have a lot of phone calls. And yeah, I started the band with our singer, and we decided, okay, we want to do pagan metal and should sounds like this and this and this band. And then we start to rehearsal, and it was just a good vibe. And then we decided, okay, now we have to go on and keep all our energy in this project. And then we quit our jobs and went to the rehearsal room 7 days a week and just practice. And then, yeah, we recorded the first album, and it was a for the fans a killer album. So we were from nobodies to playing one of the biggest festivals in Europe, the Wacken Open Air, in the same year. So that was unbelievable. It was pretty fast. The band grows pretty fast. And yeah, but it was because we put so much energy in this project and into this band. So
Wow, that's amazing that you went from just playing Vakken like really, quickly like that.
yeah, yeah, just amazing.
What was
Yeah.
your sort of reaction during that time, like to kind of ascend that quickly?
This is, as I say, from a nobody, I was listening to all of these heavy metal bands like Fintroll, Turisas, Kopiklani. They're really, really big in pagan metal and really famous all over the world. And I was one of the biggest fans of these guys for more than 5 years. And then just in this 1 year, we started to touring with these guys. We started to touring with in the US, in Canada, in Europe. I don't know. I was the first when I was 80 years old, something like around this. It was just like a punch in the face. It was unbelievable. So I could cry every day. But the cool thing is, it's the same right now. So it feels so good back with this album, and I can't wait to be back on stage with my wolf pack Varg. So
It feels new
it's
all
quite
over
quite of
again.
the same. Yeah, right. It's quite of the same feeling right now. Love it.
As being one of the founders of this band, being one of the core members of this band, how did you kind of keep this project going for so many years? Like you've had so many albums and EPs. Like how do you keep it
Yeah.
going?
It's the most important part is the friendship between our singer and me. So he's my best friend, and that's the main reason to keep the band rolling. Because when you just make music with some people you don't know or you don't like, then no, it will die pretty early. So main reason is the friendship, and the second reason is the love for the music. It's not this making money or something like that. It's just the feeling to connect with fans on stage. And also um, sometimes fans send me message, hey, with your new song or with this song you helped me so much because I've got so many trouble in school or with
Yeah.
my wife or with some other guys, but when I listen to your music it gives me more and new energy to keep on going, etc. And that's quite cool to help people or give something to people with just your music, what you do, your passion. And yeah, that's the best feeling.
That friendship that you were talking about with the singer, like how do you keep that going through all these years being in a band with them? What sort of things outside of music do you guys connect on?
This is the funny thing. It's not that much at the moment because I'm touring all over the world all the time with my job, and he lives around about 400 miles far away from me. So all the bands we are not connected together. So we live all over in Germany, and we just met for practice and for touring. So, but yeah, I've got this guy on the phone every fucking day. So I love this.
What do you
This
guys
keeps
talk
us
about?
connected.
Like, is there
Yeah.
anything like outside of music that you guys talk about?
I lo- about everything. So about our relationships, how it's going. Our singer, he's got a wife, he's got a kid. So we're talking about this stuff and family life. Yeah, and right now we talk a lot about what's going on in the world with the pandemic. Yeah.
Like, outside of music things, like, what are your interests? Like, what do you like to do for fun, or just to relax?
Well, there's nothing much because the job needs so much energy and the music needs so much energy. So I enjoy my life with my wife and going out in the woods for going out in the city for dinner. So we really enjoy this, but there's not much time for having hobbies like bicycling or something like that. That's the biggest problem. But I love to be on tour and I love to be all over the world. So that's my hobby. My job is my hobby.
What do you do when you're like traveling, like when you're on tour? like in the
Mm.
buses or planes or whatever?
Yeah. Oh, the cool thing is I love to tour in North America. So it's the US is by far my favorite country, and I love to be there. I'm really often when I go to for holidays, I go to Los Angeles and spend my time there because the landscape over there is just amazing. You can go to the ocean, you can go to the desert, or you can go skiing in just, I don't know, less than a car drive day.
Right. It's
So
like, yeah.
this is just amazing. And I love the people there over in the US. They're so chatty. I love this.
Right. Like
And
you can hit LA to Las Vegas to Denver, Colorado. Like
yeah, it's just amazing. And the landscape change every couple of 100 miles. This is unbelievable. When you drive from Germany, from one side to the other side, there's just forest all the time, the same forest. So
yeah.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
even
change
like
that much. We also got mountains and we got the ocean, but it's not the same.
yeah, if you actually like travel like in middle America, there's like a whole lot of nothing there too. Just like
Yeah,
plains and
it's
stuff like that. You know,
yeah.
like it's funny when like bands from like Europe or any other place like come tour America. They're like, yo, there's just like a lot of nothing at times, you know, when we're in these buses
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Like in Europe, you can just like hit all of Europe and like everywhere you need to
Yeah.
go, and it's like not really a lot of land in comparison to the US.
Yeah, I can drive to every country in Europe in just 5 hours, something like that. It's unbelievable.
Right.
So especially from my hometown, it's 1 hour drive to three different countries. So it's pretty funny. And yeah, but I love touring in the US because we spend all of our free time to just yeah, do normal tourist stuff. So go to the I don't know, Liberty in in New York, or yeah, have some gamble in Las Vegas, etc. We do all the tourist
Nice.
stuff, but I love this so much.
Nice, nice. You know, how are people in general dealing with the pandemic in Germany? Because like here, we got people that take it seriously, but then we got people who think that we're invading their civil rights and refuse
Yeah.
to wear a mask. And you'll have like these big group gatherings, and you're like, and then next thing you know, like there's a spike in COVID cases, you know. So like, how are they
So,
dealing it with? How is like the public dealing with it in Germany?
so in Germany, we are pretty easy to handle because when the government says, "Okay, guys, you have to wear a mask," then everybody says, "Okay, we do it." Bam. So it's pretty easy. There's nobody who says, this- I don't want to wear a mask or something. It's everyone does it. So that's quite cool. And um, we are also pretty fine with it. I don't. We've got not that much. Yeah, or luckily not that much people who died from COVID. It's less than a couple of thousand, maybe. I don't know the numbers right now, but it's not that much like in other countries like Italy or Spain. Yeah, that's pretty good because we started really early with a lockdown here in Germany, and it takes us about 6 weeks. So you were allowed to go to the grocery store
Yeah.
and to the pharmacy, etc., but no hairdresser and no cinemas, so the normal stuff. But now we opened everything except concerts. But the rest, the bars and the restaurants, everything is open, but you have to wear the mask every time. Yeah. But we are pretty straight here over in Germany. There's no problem. There's nobody who says, well, I don't know anybody who says I don't want to wear a mask or I.
Kind of envy you
That's a
guys
good
there.
thing over here. Yeah.
I kind of envy you guys there. Here, it's like, among other things, it's a big shit show here. You know, we're in election season, we're voting a
I
president
know.
really soon.
Yeah.
Shit show.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I've got many friends in the US, so especially in California, and they often send me text messages and say, "Oh, what the fuck is going on right now again?" Yeah, and then especially you've got the fires in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Uh,
fires go everywhere. It's one thing or another going
yeah,
here. It's crazy, crazy.
I'm really hope that I can visit the US next year again. So I'm really looking forward, but we don't know yet.
Right. Like, another thing that has been very important in 2020, um, and it's here in the States, it's been something that's been building over many years recently, is that new chapter of like our civil rights movement, the Black Lives Matter
Yeah,
movement, and that's something that really, especially this year, over the past year, has touched worldwide. Like what
yeah, yeah.
what's that like in Germany, and how has that
It
affected?
also it touched a lot in Germany, and it's pretty good. I like this and really support this movement because um, yeah, we've got a big history of racism in Germany, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
So in Germany, we changed a lot of street names. Who guys say, okay, this is like a racist street name. So we changed all of this, and everybody was okay with this. So that's quite cool. Um, but otherwise, there's especially here in Bavaria, there's not much racism. So and it's pretty good. But yeah, the movement is also over here, and it's good how it is. So we try our best to um, yeah make everything right for everyone over here in Germany. And there's a lot of um, migration going on here in Germany because from Africa, etc. And we try to do our best to help those people. So Germany is, I guess, country number one in Europe in supporting migrants.
Okay. That's great. That's
So
good.
that's quite cool, and I love that the people in Germany say, yeah, it's okay because we we are really well here in Germany. We've got a nice social system for when I lost my job, the government will pay for me for the next. I don't know how long it takes to get a new job. And the same when I get sick or ill, government will pay for every hospital, for the doctor, for the dentist, for everything. So that's quite cool. And so we've, the government got the money and we can give it back to people who really need it because they have to refuse from their countries because there's war or something like this.
And another kind of subset of like the Black Lives Matter movement has been like the influence of like another sort of wave of talking about gender equality, sexual
Hmm.
harassment, stuff like that. How has any of that touched Germany at all recently?
I think not that much because I'm 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 not really into this in the media. It's I don't know. I'm super free when everyone. One of my employees he decided going from a girl to a boy,
Yeah.
and we're super fine with that. But I think it's too much to make one more restroom in the office for gender X or I don't know what's the name is then. Yeah. But the movement is also over here for sure. Yeah, especially in the big cities like Berlin, something like that.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's good to hear. How has like you kind of mentioned before, Germany definitely has a really huge racist history in the past,
Yeah.
and you talked about a lot of changes. Like, what was sort of your idea growing up about as a kid, growing up, like where did you sort of form your opinions about all of that, and did anything
It
change
was
as you
it's
grew older?
Yeah, it's pretty special for me because I'm from East Berlin. So after the Second World War, Germany was split in a half. So one half of Germany was the Russian side, and this was the side where I was born, and the other side was American, British, and French district. And I grew up on the east side of Germany, so the Russian side, and I couldn't remember that much because when the border opens to West Germany, I've been age 6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't remember that much, um, but I could remember that we moved from East Germany to Bavaria, so it's super far in the west, and there's that was so strange for me because everybody over here is so there or was the last years it changed a lot so Christianities. So they, when I went to school, I'm not in the church, and when I went to school, I was not allowed to go to school camps or something like that because I wasn't in the church. It was
Yeah.
pretty crazy. So, but there was, for my opinion, I've never been in contact with racist guys or with racism. That was pretty good. There was at this time a bit of racism in the east area of Germany, but I've never stayed in contact with this. So luckily,
That's good.
so
That's good to
that's
hear.
why I'm so open for the world and I love traveling. I love to meet people and talk to them, and I don't give a fuck if which skin color you have or something like that. I just want to stay in contact with people because every human being is super interesting for me and I love to talk to them. So, yeah.
That's good to hear. That's
And
good
I
to
don't
hear.
care the religion. So if somebody is Christian or a Jewish or something or a Muslim, I don't care because I've got so many friends that are Muslims or I've got Jewish fans. We never talk about religion. No, they're just human beings and cool friends for me. So and this is all over in Germany. This is the cool thing.
Yep.
How about you in Denver? In Detroit? Is there kind of racism
Y-
going on?
Yeah, it's kind of just like still, it's kind of amped up in like the during the Trump presidency because
Mm,
obviously he's kind of been fanning those flames. Um, See, here in the
yeah,
Detroit area, the Detroit city is predominantly black. Right outside of Detroit, there's a city called Dearborn that's the biggest Arab population outside of the Middle East. And
yeah.
then when you go outside Metro Detroit, it's become more mixed. But then the rest of Michigan is very much like conservative and like
Hmm.
Republican, So
Yeah, yeah.
it's very segregated still here in like Michigan, and we're definitely still having our our thing racially, our things racially here. Um, they've been building up like downtown Detroit a lot, but it's kind of like gentrification sort of ways where
Mm.
they're kind of pushing out the culture, and
Okay, yeah.
you're not seeing the real like faces of the city in the promotion of it, in any of it. So that's like kind of like what's happening like in Detroit, and it's kind of like that in a lot of other places. And Detroit has always been a place where it's been kind of, to a certain extent, like a desolate place where someone explained to me that Detroit is the future when it comes to the U.S. Whereas whatever can happen here, both good and bad, can happen
Yeah.
anywhere in the U.S. Like
In the
Detroit
US, yeah,
today,
yeah.
like there's other cities that are going through the things that Detroit, went through first. So
Yeah.
we're always a city that people should look at as like a sort of an example of what to do and what not to do. So we've always been that sort of like city.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Ah, crazy. Yeah, and Also, what I when I go to the US, most of the time there are areas or districts where African Americans, then there's a district for Latinos, and this is not here in Germany. There's everything is mixed, and this is what I love over here. And you've got a lot of mixed couples in Germany and
Yeah.
all this stuff, and I love this to see. So there's not a Starbucks just packed with a couple of white guys or something like that, because it's just mixed, and this is pretty cool. So we are really opened in Germany, luckily, because especially with our past. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, because I grew up like right on the border of Detroit in the suburbs, and like the famous 8 Mile from the Eminem movie, like,
yeah, yeah.
and that border was like a hot like a really, it was an invisible border, but it was a really strict border between the white neighborhoods and the
Okay,
black
yeah,
neighborhoods. And I lived like, you know, just a block off of it, in the white neighborhoods, but like, and the things that you would hear about what was on the other side of 8 Mile was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And I didn't, at a young age, I really didn't, I didn't believe it. Like I said the other day, because it was the 50th anniversary of the passing of Jimi Hendrix. Like,
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix was like before my time, but he was the first music artist that I ever loved. And even as a little kid, 6, 7 years old, I listened to as much stuff that I could, read as many
Yeah.
magazines that I could that would have stuff in him. I would see documentaries on TV about him, and he was my first inspiration. He was my first teacher, and basically he taught me that those people on the other side of 8 Mile were, may not be, the people that people, the type of people that, there's talking about. They might not be bad at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And
Right. Yeah.
that was like my sort of like, that was like one of those important moments in my life, was discovering Jimi Hendrix. And that's why the other day
That's
I
good.
said, I
Music
thought,
connected.
yeah, I said, I was like, I said to myself, and I was saying to other people, I was like, I might not be the person that I am today if I didn't like dig deep into Jimi Hendrix as a 7-year old.
Yeah,
so,
man.
so,
Yeah, crazy, but good. That's good to hear, huh?
and that's like the power of
So,
music and being that person, being an artist and everything. And I'm so glad that I was exposed to that, and that, that I can be, I'm a white dude, but like I can be an ally to oppressed groups, even if I want to be a part of them, and I've definitely had like, I've been like heavy into the hip hop scene here in Detroit, and for 20 years now, since I was like in my late teens, and I have much respect in that scene because of how I carry myself, because I respect the scene. uh,
yeah,
and it isn't about the hip hop scene. I'm respectful of like black people and their history and everything like
yeah.
that. It isn't just about the music or about the entertainment. It goes beyond that, and that's where my respect is always come from with people. So like, that's why it's, that's why it's important to like have these conversations like we're having now. And it's important for you to be open minded and have a, you know exposure to like, a really free environment.
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
But yeah, besides that, like, kind of in the U.S., there's it's kind of like racist things are kind of everywhere these days, and it's always been there, but it's mutated into different things, and
Mm,
people have been a lot more like, they're not even hiding it anymore in regards to very institutional racism and stuff like that
yeah, yeah,
these
yeah.
days, that it's like, it's sad, and we just really like, it's a fight here, it's definitely a fight.
Yeah. Do you think there will be a lot of changes in the next couple of years?
Hopefully, like,
Especially because of the new movement that's coming up right now. Or
the, there's thing there there's been evidence that things can change. There's been definitely been evidence. But there's a lot of work to be done. We definitely need to get Donald Trump out of office because he just really fans the flames of
Yeah,
anything, and
yeah, that's true.
all hatred and everything. And people are starting to learn that in our government, all levels of government are important, and that we need to get the right people, or at least people that will be sympathetic to the long the long range, long scheme of things. We have to like make
Hmm.
it isn't just about the president; it's about everybody else too, man.
Yeah,
The
right.
Senate, the
Yeah, yeah.
House, all that. We have to like get the right people in there, because we're all freaking out now because uh, you know, Rose Bader Ginsburg just passed away. She did a lot for gender equality on the Supreme Court here, and it's just
Hmm.
before we're nominating a president, and we're scared that Trump's going to try to push through his own Supreme
Yeah,
Court
yeah.
justice, because that's like a lifelong term. That's until they want to
Mm.
retire. So
Oh, really?
so yeah,
Okay.
so like so right now
And when he,
Trump is already like he's already put one or two justices in the during his term. Like
oh,
a
fuck.
president putting picking somebody into the Supreme Court is a big deal for their ideology, and
Yeah,
it affects for decades and
it's
decades to
like a
come.
footprint when they leave, but they've got their footprint.
Yeah. So
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
like Rose Bader Ginsburg's one of her last dying wishes is to wait until after the election to select a new
So select new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But are the Republicans, Trump, are the Speaker of the House, and they're trying to push through somebody like really quick, but the Senate has to vote for it, and there's been a few Republican senators who said that
Right.
they're not going to vote to rush it. They're going to wait. They want to wait until
Yeah.
after the election.
Oh,
So
that sounds good.
and it's
Yeah.
and it's a scary. And her dying is a scary thing. Like for it's really fucked up on so many levels that you have like a 80 something year old woman who had basically the whole country's weight on her back in regards to women's rights
Yeah.
and gender equality and stuff like that. And she basically like she fought through a lot of health issues just to stay alive, and she just like finally passed away. Like she stayed alive.
Uh,
There's some things
so,
you can be critical about of her of a lot of things, because there's some things she said in the past, and of course any sort of politician or whatever, there's gonna be some things you disagree with, or they said something stupid or whatever. Like that's all of them,
yeah.
But there's work that she did that is undeniable, and it's scaring the shit out of all women here. That
Yeah.
they're already trying to control everything that a woman can do in her body part, what they can do with their bodies and abortion and all that stuff. That it could be worse if
Yeah.
if the wrong person gets put in gets as her replacement.
Yeah.
So
And
it's a
this for a
scary time
lifetime.
right now, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Fingers crossed for you guys over there. So, cause we have a lot of Trump media over here, so we watch in the TV all the time and just doing a face palm and say, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And yeah, all over the world I think is the same.
Yeah, we're all over
Everyone
the
is
world.
just,
We're
oh,
like,
what the
man,
fuck is he doing?
these other
Yeah.
countries must think, man, U.S. is it.
Yeah, when this coronavirus started, I've been in Los Angeles with my girlfriend, and we watch TV all the time. And Trump says so many stuff, and I was, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Why is he saying this? Because-
Dude,
Ah,
it's nuts, man. It's tiring, man. We're just all tired, and we're just like,
yeah,
oh my goodness, like it's
yeah. But as I say, fingers crossed. Hopefully, it's just a couple of more months. It's in November the
yeah,
selection, or
November.
November, end of November.
Oh no, beginning of November. It's November 4th.
Okay, it's just one more month.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we're almost there.
hopefully.
It's gonna be a complete shit show until then. This is also gonna be this is gonna be an election that's not gonna be decided on election day because there's gonna be a lot of absentee voting, people sending in their votes
Yeah, yeah.
in the mail. So I don't, nobody's really counting on it being decided on election day. So
Okay.
there's gonna be a lot of there could be a lot of shenanigans going on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh,
So
that's hard.
the rest of the year is gonna be a shit show. Like we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know what other catastrophe is gonna happen outside of, but the way that our government handled the coronavirus was awful. And
Yeah.
like we should be we should have that curve flattened. We should be they forced us to get back to things,
Yeah, yeah,
way
right.
before then, just because.
Because of the industry has to go
Yeah,
on.
the industry, but
Uh,
people were just complaining about stupid shit. Like, I want to get a haircut,
yeah, right. Who cares about the fucking haircut? Stay at home. Maybe your wife can do the haircut for you,
right.
and
It's
it's
shit like that. I want to go
unbelievable.
out on
Yeah,
my boat, and it's just like, oh god, while
yeah.
while black people here just want to matter, they don't want to get killed by the cops,
Mm,
like the white people are
yeah.
like, I want a haircut, you're like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
right. Unbelievable, huh? Unbelievable. Yeah.
So man, it's been good
So
talking with you, man.
it's
I really
really
dig the
interesting. I have to say, thanks. It's so interesting for me to hear this from one of you guys who's sitting in America. But well, most interesting question for me is how is well, not most interesting. Oh my God. But how is the concert situation in the US? It's also everything is canceled, huh?
everything's everything's shut down. There's no support for anything from the
Yeah.
government when it comes to like venues and stuff like that, or workers.
Shit. Yeah.
Um, they're really like anybody that's in the concert industry has literally been forgotten during this time. And
Yeah, okay, that's quite of the same in Germany. So we support everyone in Germany, but especially the music industry. There are so many guys who are self-employed, and no way, they got no jobs since a couple of months. And if you are self-employed, you are official not allowed to go to the to make to take money from the government
yeah,
for when you lost your job because you're self-employed. But they got couple of money from the government, but way not enough to survive the next couple of months. So
yeah, our unemployment thing was kind of really really complicated. They gave us one little stimulus payment of $1,200 months ago, but that was
fuck.
it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's nothing to really live on, That goes away
Uh,
quickly, And
here's you when you lost your job in Germany. So normally, if you don't have to work before, the government will give you round about $1,500 every month, every fucking month,
that's better
just
than yeah,
for pay your flat, etc. That's quite good from the government because yeah.
yeah, it's better than we have
Oh
here, man.
man.
We got one little stimulus, and there was people who were able to get unemployment at the beginning. They did get like a bonus with that than what they
Hmm.
would regularly get, but that ran out a while back. But it's been I've been lucky enough to keep my day job. I do tech support, and I've been able to work from home, which has been a blessing.
Yeah.
I love working from
Oh
home.
yeah.
So I've been able to always have money and continue to work, but yeah, like when it comes to the concert industry, like they've definitely been forgotten, and there's going to be a lot of venues that are not going to be around, like
Oh yeah,
when things start up again.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure. God damn it. So, yeah, okay. So I hope the best for you guys. And hopefully I'll see you next year or maybe in the next couple of years when we go back on tour in the US. Then I definitely will call you for a show in Detroit
Hell
and
yeah,
hang
yeah,
out.
definitely, yeah,
That will be
definitely hit me
awesome.
up, man. Like whatever band you're with, just hit me up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so like before we get out of here, where can people go online to follow the band, listen to the new album, get more information?
Oh yeah, so we're super on Instagram and on Facebook. So just type in Varg official, and you will find us on Instagram and Facebook. And also you can check out our music videos on YouTube. Just type in Varg, uh, VARG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for listening to the Fresh is the Word podcast, hosted and produced by myself, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, empowered by Anchor at anchor.fm/Fresh is the Word. Fresh is the Word theme music provided by Steve O. You can find more of his productions at iamsteveo.bandcamp.com, and that's EYEAMSTEVEO.bandcamp.com. Fresh is the Word is available on all major streaming platforms. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. If you want to support Fresh is the Word, please consider pledging via Patreon at patreon.com/freshestheword. Follow Fresh is the Word on social media on Twitter at Fresh is the Pod, on Instagram at Fresh is the Word Podcast, and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Fresh is the Word. For more information about Fresh is the Word and our other podcasts, Breaking Records and Renaissance Soul, and a collection of pop culture articles and reviews, please visit freshesthepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and your support. Goodbye and good night.
Fresh is the word.